You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya Whitner, and this is your next audio update for Wednesday, June 14, 2017. This week's NXT was kicked off with former Intercontinental and TNA World Champion Drew McIntyre going one-on-one with the deceptively tall Rob Risen. All that means, though, is that Drew just had to lift his foot up a little higher to kick him in the yap. Risen's main/only offense was to slap Drew in the face, but that sent Drew into a rage. Like every other match since he's had his return, Drew picked up the win with the sick kick. The Authors of Pain were out next to battle Ed Dominguez and another partner. They mentioned their names once. Percy Watson mumbles, and closed captioning didn't pick it up. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, Razor and Akam are on their 1-year anniversary as a tag team, as they debuted 1 year ago, last week, and had their first match 1 year ago today. They debuted 1 year ago at NXT TakeOver, the end. And this match was essentially a handicap match, as Paul Ellering held Razor on the outside and allowed Akam to destroy their foes by himself. Akam pinned Dominguez with a DVD, and after the match, Razor got in and they delivered a super collider to their foes. Interviewed with Paul Ellering, where he said heavy machinery is as foolish as they are large. Ellering listed every team they defeated, including American Alpha, TM61, The Revival, DIY, and said that heavy machinery won't even be a footnote in the Book of Dominance. Heavy Machinery came out for a confrontation. The four men looked ready for a fight, but Ellering pulled his men away. Roderick Strong took to social media to challenge Bobby Roode to an NXT title match after he was rebuffed in his attempts last week. Sonya Deville, who's the former Daria Baronato, is going to get another chance at debuting as she is in action next week. Speaking of Tough Enough Season 6 losers, Velveteen Dream took on Cruiserweight Classic loser Raul Mendoza. Dream did not get any better of a reaction here than he did a few weeks ago in Chicago. Mendoza made a little bit of a comeback, but Dream laid him out with a rolling DVD and picked up the win with his top rope elbow. Caleb Braxton interviewed Cassius Ohno in regards to what happened last week with Hideo Itami. Ohno said he stunk to Itami's level, but Itami's not a bad guy. But Ohno's going to get his own aggression next week by facing off with Aleister Black for some reason. Ember Moon will return to the ring next week as she takes on Peyton Royce. And then we had the main event, the Triple Threat Elimination match, as Asuka defended the NXT Women's Championship against Nikki Cross and Ruby Riot. Ruby Riot and Asuka were nice enough to wait for their entrance music to turn on before coming to the ring, while Nikki just slithered to the ring during the announcement of Ember's return. Our announcers tried to make it sound like Asuka's at a disadvantage since she'd have to beat both of these women in an elimination match. That seems just a smidge ridiculous, since she can't lose her title in the undefeated streak in a bullshit method like, Nikki Cross pinning Ruby Riot. Plus, at TakeOver, she pinned them both at the same time. Both challengers went head first at each other, but would stop long enough, and just long enough, to knock Asuka down before turning on each other. Of course, that didn't last long, as the Empress of Tomorrow could not be stopped. They did tease the TakeOver finish, but Riot caught Asuka's foot on a kick. Cross used a spinning fisherman suplex on Asuka, but we'll never find out if that would have beaten Asuka, as Asuka rolled to the floor, but Cross just shrugged her shoulders, picked up Riot, gave her a spinning neckbreaker off the top rope, and eliminated Riot. However, she found out that dominating Ruby Riot and dominating Asuka are two entirely different things, as Asuka turned her full attention to the female member of Sanity. Asuka dominated everywhere, in the ring, on the apron, on the floor, and up the ramp. Asuka and Nikki fought backstage, and listen to this finish in a triple threat match. Asuka and Nikki fought backstage, and in this no disqualification, no count out match, so theoretically they could be wrestling on the moon when there not be a problem, the referee declared that this was now a no contest. The fans who really didn't care for much this week really didn't care that much here either. Asuka and Nikki Cross fought backstage to the loading dock. A bunch of referees were there to try to talk reason to them. So they fought back into the ring. Back into the arena. And Nikki shoved Asuka face first into ice water. They continued fighting through the ring, backstage area, ended up back in front of people. They fought to the top of the tech area before Nikki flung herself into Asuka, and both Nikki Cross and Asuka crashed through a table to end the show. So, technically, Asuka was never defeated here tonight. However, she didn't win. Technically, she did not win this match. Theoretically, her undefeated streak is over. 174 wins, 0 losses, and 1 no contest. I got a feeling they will not look at it that way. But, so yeah. Not only is the undefeated streak technically over, so is this podcast, so is this audio report. I'm sorry it didn't go terribly long. There wasn't a whole lot to discuss this week. Hopefully there'll be more to discuss next week. But I want to thank you all for listening, and until then, stay safe.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.